Aloha and welcome. My name is Mari Kimoto and I'm a creative media student here at UHWO, and I'm thrilled to be your guide for our virtual 360-degree campus tour of the University of Hawaii at West Oʻahu. Here at UHWO, nestled in the vibrant Kapolei community, we offer a unique learning experience where tradition meets innovation. Whether you're coming from across the ocean or just down the street, we're excited to show you what makes our campus so special. So today we're doing things a little different than most virtual tours because you'll be coming along with me. I'm using a 360-degree camera, which means it's a virtual tour, so you'll be submerged in the spaces right here with me. It'll be our eyes and our ears experiencing the wonderful places here on campus, and as well as meeting the fantastic people here at UHWO. So to give that a try, if you click and drag or use your finger to scroll around the screen, it'll actually move around the camera so that you can see everything that I'm seeing. So as a test, I'm actually headed towards the parking lot. So if you scroll on the opposite side of me, you'll be able to see it. And one thing I wanted to note, our parking lot is actually free. There's 0 fees here. And there's also an overflow lot if we need to have more parking spaces available. And again, so this is a virtual 360-degree tour. So when I'm just walking and talking, feel free to just scroll around and take a look at things around us. Okay, now that we got the bases covered, let's get started with our tour. So if you take a look to the left of me, we are passing the administration building on the left, and that is where our A classrooms are, and administration, of course, and you'll be able to see that in a little bit. And if you look to the right of me, it is actually the campus center, and it's a real hub for student life here. There's a lot of events going on in there, and you also get to see that in the tour. And up ahead on the left, we are approaching the Great Lawn as well as our library up ahead. So since the library is up ahead and we have a good view of it, if you scroll a bit upward, you'll see a beautiful glass tower up at the top, and that artwork piece is actually named Cycles, and it was created by Kauai's Carol Bennett. The art piece uses really beautiful colors as well as abstract circular shapes, and that is supposed to represent community as well as generational connections to the university. The planners of our school wanted to use this as a visual of enlightenment as well as a visual celebration of higher education. And again, our Great Lawn is just to the left of me, and we are headed towards the library. Okay, we'll take a quick stop here for a moment and you can take a stroll around. And then we will continue our tour with our next tour guide, Cameron.
Hi everyone, my name is Cameron Pinid. I am a student here at the University of Hawaii, West Oʻahu, and this is the Campus 360 tour. So as a reminder, you can scroll around and explore throughout the tour. So the first stop is going to be the multi-purpose room. So this is the biggest room here on campus. Usually we have larger events hosted here. For example, like our award ceremony hosted every semester. We also have symposiums, sometimes we have workshops, or if we have big events on campus, this is where they host those events. And next up, we have the Student Life Center. So if you're interested in joining clubs, for example, like student council, or if you want to help facilitate or like plan different events throughout the year, you can join the clubs that are hosted in here. So usually they'll have events with like games, activities, they'll have giveaways, prizes. So sometimes during like midterms, they'll have like de-stressor events or activities. Next up, we have the student services. So this is the second floor of student services. So this is where you can ask questions to your advisor. So if you have any questions about maybe registering for classes, your schedules, this is where you can talk to them. They also provide basic needs. So like they have a food vault and then also a poil closet. So the poil closet is where students can borrow or lend clothing for professional events. So like professional attire, say like you have like an interview coming up, or if you need to wear specific clothing for like a symposium, this is where you can get those clothing. Or if you want to donate clothes, then that's also an option. We also have the nursing office here. So if you need any health services, this is where you go. We also have like a bulletin board here for any opportunities, career opportunities, or information about different career programs. Next, we have the first floor C building. So here to my left, we have the student media board. So usually there'll be flyers about upcoming events throughout the semester. For example, the Japanese Tea Ceremony Club is having an event this month. There's a K-pop party. Sometimes they'll have flyers about study abroad opportunities. So you can learn more about those opportunities, get more information from these flyers. This is also a club that you can join, so if you're interested in participating or facilitating something like this, totally you can join this club. They also are in charge of the Hoot, which is our campus newspaper. Next, we have the first floor of student services. So this is more for admissions, and if you have any questions about financial aid. They also have a front desk where you can get your UHWO ID, or if you need to get it renewed. They also have the cashier's office here. Next, we have the Veterans Center of Excellence. So if you are a dependent of the military, if you are affiliated with the military, or if you have any questions about maybe the military, any like resources, or if you want to seek support, this is what they're here for. It's also a great space for people to come here and hang out, ask their questions, connect, network. So just as like a reference that this place is open for students to come. We also have the fitness center, so this is our campus gym. So it is free as long as you have a UHID. And if you are a student at Oʻahu, then you can come here. They are typically open Monday through Friday, and you can make appointments online. They have like free weights, they have treadmills, they have like your basic equipment. They even have a bench. Next, we have the Naʻauao Center. So this is also a place where students can come to hang out. They also are in charge of a lot of programs here that help students that are either freshmen, incoming students, transfer students. Next, we have the cafeteria. So West Oʻahu does not have a meal plan, but we do have a restaurant here. It is The Spot. So they have smoothies, acai bowls, they have chicken katsu, sandwiches. Some people actually try to make it a goal to try all 40 smoothies before they graduate. So far, I've only tried 8, but hopefully before I graduate, I can try all 40. This is also a great place to eat your lunch while you're studying or just talking with friends. And connected to the cafeteria is the bookstore. We have ice cream, drinks. There's also merchandise that we can purchase here. They do have textbooks, the physical copy of the textbooks, but sometimes your professors may provide you with the PDF or the online version, or you may have to purchase the IDAP, which is the ebook version of the textbook. And then you have your basic supplies like pens, pencils, index cards, folders, and they do have some snacks here too. So next up, we have the library. So the library is actually open to the public, so you don't have to be a West Oʻahu student to come inside. Some of the areas in the library you are allowed to eat and drink. They're designated by different signs. So like for example, here on the left, here if you're in a green zone, then you can have food and covered drinks. Whereas in the red zones, you're not allowed to drink or consume food. Here though, we have some board games and activities that you can borrow. You can sit down here. This is also a great place for if you have any Zoom classes. You can sit here and it's a really nice and quiet space. Also, if you need to print out anything, you can go to the circulation desk and you can get a printing card here. They also have the IT services here, so if you have any questions about your device, maybe your login information, you can come here to ask those questions. There's also computers that you can use. Next, we have the Ulu'ulu Archive. So the archive stores many important events that happened in Hawaii. So sometimes you'll see like on the screens, they show the different films and the videos that they have stored here. We even have a projector. And the purpose of this archive is just to preserve the film here to prevent any damage from the seawater. Sometimes students will actually use some of the evidence or the film here as their evidence for their projects. This is also a great space that they use for yoga, and every once in a while they'll host events in here. The second floor of the library is the quiet study area. Here on my left here, we actually have our campus psychologist, Dr. Taketa, do offer mental health services, and he is available in person and online. In the quiet study area, we do have some study rooms. So here we have a computer lab, and then there will be more study rooms as I walk through the library. As we walk further down, we'll see all the books and the references and more places where you can sit and study. So in some of these areas, they'll have outlets that you can use to charge your devices, either on the tables or against the walls. And as I walk through here, you can see we have some places that you can sit and study next to the windows. And finally, we have our tutoring center, the Naʻauao Center. So they offer tutoring in person, online through Zoom. They even have a submission form where you can submit essays online, and you can receive feedback on your essays within 2 to 3 business days. They offer tutoring for all subjects, with their most popular being math, statistics, and writing. Also, this is the only place where you can eat in the library and use a microwave. They have like a snack table here. They also host a lot of events throughout the semester. So they have like games, prizes, food, giveaways. It's also a great space to come and study, not just for tutoring. Also a great place to hang out too. So that is the end of my tour. So thank you for joining me, and I'll pass it back to Mari. Thank you guys.
Mahalo, Cameron, for the great walkthrough and for taking us around through our library and our campus center. And before we meet our next guide, we're going to take a quick walk through our campus courtyard, which is up to the left of me. And this campus courtyard holds a lot of events such as Club Rush, special concerts, and even graduation. So if you're graduating in the fall, you'll actually have your graduation right here in this beautiful courtyard. And what's good about graduating here at our home campus is, yes, we're at our home campus. Who doesn't want to be at home when they graduate? And also, as I mentioned before, parking is free and we have a lot of parking, so you and your guests won't have to worry about that. And since we're out on the west side, you don't have to fight traffic going into town. And overall, this courtyard is just a really beautiful place to be. There's a lot of shade, a lot of breeze, and just a nice place to hang out. And as we continue our virtual tour, we are coming up to our next stop, and Gray will be taking you around.
Hi everyone, I'm Gray Usan. I'm currently a sophomore here at UHWO Oʻahu, and I will be your tour guide for this part of the campus today. First things first, I wanted to show you guys a classroom here in D building. So you'll notice that there is plenty of seating in here. To my right, there is a monitor for the professor to use. There are multiple whiteboards here in this classroom, as well as a smartboard. What is notable though, is that almost every single classroom that you'll see throughout this tour is equipped with that little camera above the smartboard. That is a tracking camera. So if the professor is maybe a synchronous class or a hybrid class where there's students in person and online, this camera will actually track the movements of the professor throughout the classroom. You may be thinking that our classrooms are a little bit small for a university, but we'll get into why that is in just a moment. Right across from me here, where we just left the classroom, are these little nooks. And these little nooks are not more classrooms, but rather offices. We think it's important for professors and students to have a connection in order to benefit their learning. UHWO is not a research university, so all of our professors here are hired just for the love of teaching their specialty and content. We even have almost a 20-to-1 staff to student ratio. D building though is what we call our general classroom building. What you take here will just depend on what professor gets placed here. My sister has taken a Japanese class here, I've taken a math class here, so it all depends. You'll see it's the same setup all the way down the hallway, as well as seating downstairs and upstairs for students to study and hang out. Here is something I thought would be important to point out in D building. This is a student media board. There are actually multiple placed all around campus. This is important because on our website, you may notice that our student population is quite small, but that doesn't mean we don't have a lot of life here on campus. The student media board has a bunch of flyers for events that are happening, as well as student-made clubs and even organizations that students here can join. One of my most favorite events here on campus is what we call Cram Jam. It's something that our student government sets up every semester near finals week, where students are able to go into the library. There'll be refreshments, snacks, music, and different types of resources for students to use just to have that moral support during their final week. The amazing thing about living in Hawaii is the views. So I wanted to take you guys upstairs just to see one of my favorite views here on campus. And here is the view. Please feel free to use the 360 feature to take it in. As we come around this corner, you will notice the hidden gem here at UHWO Oʻahu, which is the student garden. The agriculture students here grow a bunch of different crops, some native to here in Hawaii, such as taro, but they also grow papaya, bananas, and most notably, coconuts. The interesting fact about coconuts is that this garden isn't only for agriculture students, but also for the natural science students. And what the natural science students are doing with the coconut trees are they're trying to add a genetic variation so that these coconut trees can resist a current problem we have here in Hawaii, which is the coconut beetle epidemic. The coconut beetle epidemic has been destroying a lot of our coconuts and spreading to a bunch of different palms as well. So our natural science majors here are trying to combat that, which I think is amazing. As we move into the garden, I would also like to note that we actually have a Hawaiian medicine class here as well. So they also have different herbs and flowers growing in here. Across from me though is a structure in which we would call a hale. The only man-made thing is the concrete that it's built upon, but everything else is made of natural resources and traditional techniques to make this structure, which is very impressive. Moving into the shade, we have now reached E building, which is our laboratory building. However, downstairs are mostly classrooms for one of our most popular majors, which is cybersecurity. The reason why cybersecurity is so popular is because we are currently the only University of Hawaii campus that offers that major. Then it's the same setup that we saw in D building, with classrooms on one side, offices on the other, seating upstairs and downstairs. Our buildings were actually built with a lot of architectural intention, so we don't have any ACs here in our main hallway, but that's because we don't need them. They were basically built as giant breezeways. The tiles are even meant to be heat resistant. Here is another view of our courtyard and library. Now upstairs are where most of their laboratories are located. So on this end, we have the instrument lab, which is of course where all the instruments and tools are held. Then we have chemistry, biology, and even archaeology. You notice that upstairs in these buildings, there are bigger tables. I think the most notable lab here upstairs is the nursing simulation lab, which we'll look at in just a second. Each building is also equipped with elevators as well as upstairs and downstairs bathrooms for accessibility purposes. And just up ahead, we have the nursing simulation lab. In this first part of the room, this is the classroom. There's not that much seating, but that's only because not many students use these facilities at the same time. However, it is the same setup with the monitor for the professor to use, a smartboard, as well as a lecture tracking camera. The real magic, however, is in here. In this first room to our left, we have what is called a high fidelity dummy. And basically, this is very acute symptom showing dummies, so they can actually measure respiratory sounds as well as guttural sounds, blood pressure, things like that. And this next room over. In this room is where each of these dummies are controlled, because there are very specific things that the professor or students can control, such as the blood pressure, heart rate, and things like that. And this is where they would do that on these monitors. Especially for this dummy right here, which is one that can actually simulate giving birth. And here is the dummy baby as well. Our friend here to the left is a patient that students can actually practice moving in and out of beds and even feeding. This main room here is meant to simulate a most realistic experience for nursing students as possible, which is why you can see all the patients on their beds, the equipment, and even curtains. These are what we call low fidelity dummies, and they are not as finite as the two other dummies that I showed you. However, students can still practice on them. For example, this student was working with trachea health. The point of this being so realistic for students is so that they aren't moving just from studying the material all the way into the field. By having an environment like this where they can practice those things, makes it better for them to transition into their career. To my left, I just wanted to give an extra view of the entirety of the student garden. Again, please feel free to use the features to check it out. As we make our way back down the halls, it's just because I wanted to show you guys one last view on the other end of E building, which features our rail, which is transportation for some of the students here. It actually has a station just for our campus. Throughout this portion of the tour, just in the 3 spaces that we checked out, you'll see that UHWO does a lot for its students in providing them as many resources as possible. Please enjoy this view as I hand it back off to Amari.
Mahalo Gray for those awesome showcases of our classrooms, student garden, and nursing lab. And these are just a few of the innovative commodities that UHWO has to offer. And before we move on, and before we make our way back to A building from the back end of UHWO, if you swing your mouse to the left of me, I am looking right at the facilities building, and that is where security along with other departments are housed. And also before we move on, I wanted to take note of these emergency post towers, which is located a little bit in front of me to the right. There are these big, tall, gray, blue pillars, and there's a big push for help button. If you are in need, you may use it. And there's also 2 lights that have call placed and call received, so you know the status of security. All right, we can start headed to A building from the back end of our school. And so again, up to the left of me is the courtyard where we walked before we met with Gray. And that's where graduation may be for some of you. And we are also coming up to the library from the back end of the school. And again, since this is a virtual 360-degree virtual tour, just feel free to scroll around anytime to take a look at the beautiful places here on campus. One of my favorite things about being here at UHWO is just the people and the community here. We're a very small, tight-knit community. Classrooms are super small, and I really like it. Your professors know you by name, and everyone just kind of feels like family here. If you take a look to the left of me that we're passing by right now, we're passing by where we saw the campus center, as well as this really big, nice, open, like, seating area in front of the campus center. And there's actually a lot of student activities that happen over there, and it's totally free for students. It's really fun. They always mix it up. They do like semester distresser, or we just have like cute little crafts for like Valentine's, Halloween, Christmas. Totally free for all students. We are coming up to our next stop, where we will continue the tour with Hiva.
Aloha, my name is Hiva. I'm a Natural Sciences, Life Sciences senior here at Oʻahu, and I'm your host for A Building. Let's take a look around. When we first come into A Building from the front of campus, you'll notice that on our left is the water fountains and the restrooms. And what's cool about these water fountains is that if you're running low on water, you can refill your water bottle if you bring your flask to class. Now on our right is going to be our staircase. That's one way you can get to class. If you just come right around the corner from the restrooms and the water fountains, you'll find the vending machine on your left with some Coke products, and if you don't want to take the stairs, we have an elevator. As we first come out of the elevator, you'll notice that to our right is a second set of water fountains. So if you miss filling up your water bottle downstairs, you can fill up your water bottle upstairs on your way to class. Now, just around the corners, again, are going to be a second set of bathrooms. So again, if you miss downstairs, you can also come upstairs. You don't have to go back downstairs. If you're planning to study in the health sciences or natural sciences here at Oʻahu, majority of your classes are going to be conveniently placed here in A building. And now, that's a really good sign, because as you walk onto campus, you'll notice that A building is the first building on campus, which means that you're not going to have to walk very far for your classes. Now, that's not the only convenience, because my personal favorite part is that the majority of the faculty members that you're going to be working with, your professors, are located on the rail station end of the building. So whether you have questions about your degree pathway, or if you want to start a research project with one of your professors, or if you just have general questions about your coursework, give their door a good knock. They'll answer and help you out. So now that we've covered the second floor of A building, where a majority of your lecture classes are going to be, I'm going to take you downstairs and we're going into the lab. Now that we're in the laboratory, first things first. We've got to put on our lab coats for safety and wash our hands in the designated hand washing sink for sterile practice. Awesome. Now we've made sure we're protected. We made sure we're not going to contaminate anything. And now we can take a look around. In our laboratories here at UHWO Oʻahu, we have incubators, microscopes, centrifuges, disinfectants for before and after you work in the laboratory, and designated waste bins for anything that you use marked with biohazard stickers. These are just some of the standard things that you may be using and working with when you're doing your laboratory classes. Wow, we've covered A building facilities, laboratory facilities, and even some amazing program highlights. Now I'm going to take you through one last protocol before you leave the laboratory after your classes. Back to where we started. First we're going to take our lab coats off, and then we wash our hands again before leaving the lab. Alright, now I've got my lab coat off, my hands are washed, my backpack's on, I'm ready to go home and do some of my genetics homework. It was a pleasure showing you around my home away from home, and I hope that you choose to join us here at UH West, because just remember, West is best.
Mahalo Hiva for your time. Those classrooms are huge. And now that we've covered most of the key points here at UHWO, we just have one last stop to go, the Academy of Creative Media building. And it's actually our newest addition to UHWO, and it has so much to offer. It's actually one of my favorite buildings. I'm a creative media major, so this is where I have all of my classes, this is where I do my work, and just hang out. We'll be meeting with my coworker and colleague, Ashley. She'll be taking you guys around in the building in just a bit. Again, feel free to scroll around to take a look at where we are. And coming up is our last stop of the tour, and Ashley will be taking you guys around.
Thanks, Mari. My name is Ashley, and I'm a creative media major concentrating in general creative media. We have 4 concentrations in the creative media major. We have communications and new media technologies, design and media, video game design and development, and general, in case you want to take it all. But we can get into those later. We'll start right here in the lobby. This is where we showcase student work, have students sit and relax before class, and enjoy a cup of coffee. And remember, this is a 360 video, so you can enjoy all the views too. We'll start in the production space. This is the soundstage. This room is 3,000 square feet and it is soundproof. This is the room that students can learn their intro to video and intro to photography classes. We have this space so that students can learn in an industry standard environment. The black paddings on the walls is for soundproofing, and we have a gray, black, and green screen that can go 360 all the way around the room, just like you. We have these black panels at the top, and that we can bring it down and move around the room to attach lights. We have our 2 big elephant doors. This one leads to the street and this one leads to our mill shop, and that is so we can bring in props to which then we nail down to these wooden floors. And once this gets all bust up, we can easily replace it. This is the mill shop. This is the room where students can make the props that go into the soundstage. But this is also home to our creative processes in the physical sciences class. It's a collaborative class we had with the science department to branch creative media and traditional subjects. In that class, we teach that the scientific process and the creative media design process is actually the same. One of the projects in this class is a bottle rocket. The physics part of it is that you add a little bit of water, pump it full of air, and then it'll blast off. The creative media part is adding fins and a nose and making it pretty to make it stay in the air for as long as possible. These students took it a step further and actually made a parachute that comes out and makes the bottle float down. So thus they won the competition. Another project is coding these little spheros. This is a little round robot that you can code using degrees, like 30 degrees, 90 degrees. And then we cover the robot with paint and have to make an artistic design. We have these collaborative classes because we don't want our creative media students to stray away from our traditional subjects. Not only should those subjects inspire your type of creative media, but also creative media exists everywhere, including those subjects. Other collaborative classes we have is digital anthropology and our Math 100, but taught through coding. This is a side room in the mill shop. This is where we house our 3D printers, one with filament and one with resin. We also have a laser cutter, which can of course cut things, but can also band things together. So we'll print the parts and make it all one. This is our esports room. This is the home to the video game and design students, which is one of the 4 concentrations a creative media major can take. If you've ever heard of Donkey Kong, Super Smash Bros., Valorant, Minecraft, someone had to make those games. And those games are now a part of our culture today. So that's why we offer this in our creative media studies. In this room, there's 24 gaming systems, which includes the monitors, keyboards, mice, and everyone's favorite is always the chairs. Our students usually make their games on Unity, using our only Windows computer in the entire building. Coding, software development, and video games are usually made on Windows, and other forms of media are usually Mac. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Video game development students may also indulge into web design and app design. This is the post-production suite. Around me are 4 edit bays that students can reserve to work on their projects, just in case they don't have the best computer, Wi-Fi, or fancy gadgets at home. Each computer comes already loaded in with the Adobe Creative Cloud. This room is the Foley room. This room is all about sound design, which is one of the classes we teach here. Students can walk on the different textures and use different equipment to recreate sounds. Because in video games and movies, the sounds are not recorded right then and there. They're brought into a studio just like this one. We have this room because we want students to get the most professional experience they can while they're taking their education. This room is the control room. This is the brain to all the audio mixing. So while the microphone may be in the Foley room, this is where the audio engineer sits and makes sure everything sounds perfect. We also do a lot of voiceovers and narration, which is then recorded right in this room to my left. This is the Dolby Atmos mixing room. Another big board, but with lots of speakers on a weirdly angled room, because this room is all about surround sound. If you've ever been to the Titan Lux Theater, or if you've heard something playing in one earphone and something else in the other, that's surround sound. And the people who created this building thought that would be the norm for movie-going and sound experiences in the future. So our students get a little bit of a taste of what the future is to come. This room holds our stop-motion animation class. Stop-motion and motion graphics are part of our design and media concentration, where you'd also learn about graphic design, prog design, layout design, and dabble into web and app design. We want our students to be multifaceted, so that when they graduate, they can easily get a job in whichever industry is most desirable. Here's one of our math classrooms. In this room, you could take online video, which is a part of our communications and new media technologies concentration. It sounds like a mouthful, but it's basically about video production and social media marketing. I used to be a communications student, but I realized I like all forms of creative media, and so I switched over to general. In general creative media, you can take a mismatch of all of the classes. So you could take a video game class, have a design class, and a communications class all in the same semester. And this is the hatchery. This is a room both students and alumni can reserve to work on group projects and do interviews. Its metaphorical meaning, however, is for our senior capstones. Our capstones are a little different. You take an entire semester to do your research. Once you do your presentation and get approved, then you can move into your project. Your project can be about anything. It could even be anything. It could be a video game, a social media campaign, a website, an app, a documentary, anything your heart desires, as long as it solves a problem that is related to your research. So this room, and we're pueros, right? You're in your egg. You're still forming, you didn't do your capstone yet. And then once you do your capstone and you graduate, you hatch, and then you fly off into the industry world and you get a job. And this is our 100-seat theater. In this room, we have workshops, master classes, and regular old classes. This is also the room a student would make sure that their surround sound technology sounds perfect. Because with that technology, you need to hear it in the place it'll be displayed in. We have this technology thanks to Dolby, and we're actually the only UH campus with that Dolby certification. The regular classes taught in this room is History of Pop Culture and Dynamic Leadership. History of Pop Culture contextualizes the historical events with the media of that time. And Dynamic Leadership teaches you about yourself and the type of leader you are to work better with others. Because in creative media, you'll always be working in a team or with someone else. Thanks so much for coming around the building with me, and I'll send you back off to Mari.
Bye! Mahalo, Ashley, for taking us around the ACM building. Those spaces in there are literally so cool. And just like that, we've covered some key points here at UHWO, all the way from Campus Center to the nursing labs to the student garden, all the way to here at ACM. What an adventure, right? I hope while you're coming along with me, you felt the energy and community here at UHWO. Also, one thing I wanted to note is if you take a look to the left of me, you'll actually see the rail system going, and that is actually the Keoneʻai rail station, which is about a 7 to 10 minute walk from the rail station to here at UHWO. So for all of you who ride the bus or catch the rail, super convenient as it stops right at our school. Your journey doesn't need to end here. Our link to our website will be in the description, where you can connect with admissions, read more about our programs, and just connect with us. And we are ready to welcome you to our ohana. I love it here at UHWO, and I hope you guys will just as much as I do. And this is where I will part from you. And I just want to say mahalo nui loa for joining us today and following along with me. And we'll see you guys soon. Ahui ho.